Midcaps take a battering as selling resumes after yesterday's reprieve. Trump's reciprocal tariffs don't help sentiment. Healthcare and industrials are the biggest losers. US President Donald Trump approves the imposition of reciprocal tariffs on trade partners. He calls tariffs in India enormous and specifically points to automobiles, pharma, steel and aluminum. India will likely increase the imports of US energy products from $15 billion in 2024 to near $25 billion in the near future, India's Foreign Secretary said after the Modi-Trump joint statement. India and US are eyeing a new 10-year defense framework that will run from 2025 to 2035. As a part of the pact, the nations will increase cooperation and US will review its arms transfer rules. India's Foreign Secretary, however, clarified that there is no formal move to buy F-35 fighter jets. Hello, good afternoon. You've tuned into Business Lunch coming in live from CNBC-TV18 Motilal Oswal Studios. I'm Vinny Motiwala. Thank you so much for tuning in to CNBC-TV18. A quick look at what is happening in the markets. We're seeing a sharp fall coming in the markets. As of now, the Nifty is trading at the day's lowest point. 22,790 levels is what the Nifty is at. 22,800 is broken, down almost 1%. Nifty opened in the green, but absolutely didn't manage to hold on to it. Yesterday also we saw similar trading session. Let's look at the contributors that are there in the Nifty 50. The top drags are coming in from the banking side. HDFC Bank, Kotak Bank among the top drags. Axis Bank is also there. And we have Reliance as well as Sun Pharma coming in on the drags. ICICI Bank from the private bank side is managing to still hold on to some bit of that green. But clearly we are seeing that the pressure is coming in on the banking side. So let's pull that banking side as well. And mid and small cap also is seeing a very sharp decline, 2 to 3% decline. Bank is down 1% as well. Day's lowest point for the Nifty Bank as well. Small cap is down more than 3.5%. So 3.9% is what we're seeing in terms of a decline that is coming in for the markets, specifically across the board. None of the sectors are as of now trading in the green. We've seen some bit of a green for Nifty FMCG in the morning, but that also is not there. But let's get the show started for today. And, trade ties and defense deals were high on the agenda of Prime Minister Narendra Modi as well as the US President Donald Trump when they met at the White House. The two leaders discussed doubling trades between the two countries to over $500 billion by 2030. The two countries will also be working to finalize trade deals by 2026. Higher sales of defense equipment from the US to India, including F-35 fighter jets, could also be on the agenda. Let's hear out both the leaders on what they had to say.
आज हमने द्विपक्षीय व्यापार को 2030 तक 2 गुना से भी अधिक बढ़ाकर $500 बिलियन तक पहुंचाने का लक्ष्य निर्धारित किया है। हमारी टीमें एक पारस्परिक लाभकारी ट्रेड एग्रीमेंट को शीघ्र संपन्न करने पर काम करेगी। भारत की ऊर्जा सुरक्षा सुनिश्चित करने में हम ऑयल तथा गैस ट्रेड को बल देंगे। ऊर्जा इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर में निवेश भी बढ़ेगा। न्यूक्लियर एनर्जी क्षेत्र में हमने स्मॉल मॉड्यूलर रिएक्टर्स की दिशा में सहयोग बढ़ाने पर भी बात की।
Today, the Prime Minister and I are announcing a framework to strengthen those ties even further economically, and the U.S.-India Compact for the 21st century is a historic initiative that will deepen every aspect of our partnership and our friendship. Starting this year, we'll be increasing military sales to India by many billions of dollars. We're also paving the way to ultimately provide India with the F-35 stealth fighters.
Okay, and Parikshit is now joining in with us to tell us more about the key announcements from the joint statement issued after the meeting between the Prime Minister of India, that's Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and President Donald Trump. Parikshit, take it over.
The India-US joint statement that has been issued gives you a sense of the direction in which the ties would take. Now, the statement outlines the US-India Compact. Now, this means catalyzing opportunities for military partnership, accelerated commerce, technology for the 21st century. So this is a new principle that has been brought into the joint statement, which will be a guiding light, so to say. US-India Trust Partnership, transforming relationship, utilizing strategic technologies. Our sense is that this possibly is going to replace the ISET agreement, which was there in the previous Biden administration. US-India have also agreed on a roadmap for accelerating AI infrastructure by the end of the year. Indus Innovation is a step ahead of Indus X, and this will look at collaboration in space and emerging technologies. This is now going to be important for the pharma sector because the joint statement speaks about expanding Indian manufacturing capacity, including in the United States, for APIs for critical medicines. So this means there is an expectation that the US has listed out that Indian pharma companies must make more in America, must create more jobs as well. The Strategic Mineral Recovery Initiative has also been agreed upon, unlocking plans to build large US-designed reactors and enabling collaboration to develop, deploy and scale up nuclear power generation. So we are going to see some action on small modular nuclear reactors and nuclear power generation collaboration between US and Indian private sector. Also, streamlining avenues for legal mobility. While India agreed to take back illegal Indians in the United States, at the same time we said that immigration is a problem because of rackets that exist, trafficking rackets, and we must as countries get together and fight this problem. India welcomed the order approving the extradition of the Tahabbur Rana and strong words on Khalistani terrorism as well.
Okay, thank you so much for that, Parikshit. But on that note, we're going to slip into a very short break. Up next, President Donald Trump announces plans to impose reciprocal tariffs on trading partners, including India. More on this after the short break. Welcome back and thanks for staying tuned into Business Lunch on CNBC-TV18. Moving on, US President Trump has also signed a memorandum to impose reciprocal tariffs on trading partners, including India, and criticized India having very high tariff barriers. Let's listen in to his comments.
India imposes a 30 to 40 to 60 and even 70% tariff on so many of the goods, and in some cases far more than that. And as an example, a 70% tariff on U.S. cars going into India, which makes it pretty much impossible to sell those cars. Today, the U.S. Trade deficit with India is almost $100 billion. And Prime Minister Modi and I have agreed that we'll begin negotiations to address the long-running disparities that should have been taken care of over the last 4 years, but they didn't do that. In the U.S.-India trading relationship with the goal of signing an agreement, and we want we want a certain level playing field, which we really think we're entitled to, and he does also, in fairness. So we're going to work on that very hard. India's been to us just about the highest tariffed nation anywhere in the world. They've been very strong on tariffs, and I don't blame them necessarily, but it's a different way of doing business. It's very hard to sell into India because they have trade barriers, very strong tariffs.
And there was a lot of action on the trade and tariff front while Donald Trump commented on India's high tariff barriers and signed a memorandum to impose reciprocal tariffs on trading partners. The leaders of both the countries also agreed on working towards a trade deal between the countries. Parikshit is here to tell us more.
Yes, the big headline on trade is that both countries have agreed to sign the first tranche of a mutually beneficial multi-sector bilateral trading agreement by the fall of 2025. What's the low-hanging fruit that Donald Trump was looking for in order to reduce the trade deficit of $35 to $40 billion? One is defense. The joint statement outlines how India could procure 6 additional P-8I maritime patrol aircraft from the US, how we could expand sales and co-production of defense systems such as the Javelin anti-tank missile and the Striker system as well. There is also going to be negotiations on reciprocal defense procurement, and US has also announced a review of its policy on releasing 5th generation fighters and undersea systems. Trump said that eventually the defense talks are going to lead to F-35 sales to India, but the foreign secretary said not yet. A lot of formal steps have to be taken before any process is also initiated for buying or acquiring fighter jets of that kind, and none of that has already happened. Energy was a big one, with the foreign secretary saying that if energy imports from the US were to the tune of $15 billion last year in 2024, very soon it could even touch $25 billion.
Thanks for that. But let's also listen in to the comments from the Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri following the meeting between the two leaders.
We are a significant purchaser of US energy in any case. I think last year we purchased about $15 billion in US energy output. There is a good chance that this figure will go up to as much as $25 billion in the near future. And so, therefore, we are a significant producer. It is entirely possible that these increased energy purchases will contribute to impacting the deficit between the two countries. I don't think with regard to the acquisition of an advanced aviation platform by India, that process has started as yet. So, this is currently something that's at the stage of a proposal, but I don't think the formal process in this regard has started as yet.
Okay. Well, moving on, Parikshit also spoke to Amon Havers, who is of CNBC International, who said that the tariffs are intended to pressure nations into coming to negotiation table. Listen in.
A lot of folks on Wall Street were expecting immediate tariffs today, and what we learned earlier in the day on Thursday was that, in fact, no, this is not an immediate implementation of tariffs. What this is a study to figure out how to do these tariffs with every country around the world. They're issuing the study. That'll be completed by April 1st, and then by April 2nd, they say they'll be in position to actually implement tariffs that execute on that date. We'll see, though. My expectation is what this tees up is a massive negotiation around the world as every country comes to the West Wing to try to work out trade deals individually, one-on-one. What Donald Trump wants is to be the deal maker in chief, and this is his opportunity to go country by country and cut a new set of deals. This gives him a lot of wiggle room in terms of those negotiations, but it also means that tariffs are not coming in place today as we stand here now, which was something that Wall Street was frankly concerned about.
Okay, on that note, we're going to slip into a very short break. After the break, we'll tell you the rules and new updates coming in from the RBI front as they issue curbs on a New India Cooperative Bank as its liquidation situation worsens. So stay tuned in for that. Welcome back to Business Lunch on CNBC TV18. Let's move on. And long queues were seen outside branches of the New India Cooperative Bank after the RBI issued orders to the bank to stop all disbursements immediately given its liquidity position. The RBI also also directed the bank to stop withdrawals from savings and current accounts immediately. Sudarshan is here to give us more details on this. Sudarshan?
That's true. So you are seeing this long queue before most of the branches of New India Cooperative Bank. The reason is yesterday RBI, that is Central Bank, has issued certain directions related to the bank, and it's because of deteriorating liquidity position of the bank. So first I'll tell you what exactly RBI told bank not to do. First, the bank cannot grant or renew any loans and advances. It cannot make any investment or incur any liability. Third, it cannot accept fresh deposits or disburse any amount. It cannot sell, transfer or dispose of any of its properties or assets, and depositors are not allowed to withdraw money from their accounts. Now, there are certain items that bank can do. First, it may incur expenditure in respect of certain essential items, and those essential items include salary of employees, rent and electricity bills. And these directions by RBI will be effective for 6 months, effective Feb 13, 2025. And RBI will keep monitoring the position of the bank and will take necessary actions. Now, if you take a look at the financial status of the bank, NPAs have been rising for the bank. It has reported losses for second straight year. That is, in FY23 it reported losses. Even in FY24 it reported losses. And one important metric, that is capital adequacy ratio, it remains above the regulatory norm. In FY24 it was at 9.06%, and in FY23 it was at 7.83%. So these are the reasons that RBI has issued directions.
Okay, Sudarshan, thank you so much for the latest update on that front. But let's move on the sidelines of the Karnataka Global Investor Meet. My colleague Ritu spoke to M.B. Patil, the large and medium-scale industries minister of Karnataka, on the investment pledges so far and the newly developed single window clearance system for companies. Listen in.
Realizing around about 10 lakhs, we might end up at 10.2, 10.3 or even more also.
Okay.
So we are hoping to touch 11 lakh crores.
Okay.
And the question what you were telling, how much you were going to realize that.
Yes.
So we have been very specific from day one. Let us announce less but real-time investments. And accordingly, 70% is our target. A minimum of 70% should translate into investments. Suppose 10 lakh crores, 7 lakh crores should be realized. We don't want to remain on paper. They are very happy with the new industrial policy, the new clean mobility policy. More importantly, we are addressing even the ease of doing business. Now we are coming with a new single window, this one which is being developed by Microsoft, which is AI enabled, very simplistic, all regulations, law come under one portal. 130+ departments have been this one. So we are going to see that the time taken for, because time is money for them, for the people, for industries. So we're going to see the time should be cut minimum 50%. So if it's 100 days, it should come down to 50 days.